In this video, I'm going to share with you the time I woke up to an alien standing next to my bed. I talk about a lot of weird shit on my channel, and this is one of the things that I don't really touch upon too much. If you've read my biography, Finding Me, you know I go into detail, but this is one of the things that I don't really talk about too much because despite sharing with you guys having visitations from angels and soul of Jesus and Shiva and all these kind of things, this is like next level weird for me. So I actually wasn't gonna make this video, but I was walking by the television and my dad was watching this video of this guy who claims to be abducted by aliens. And when I seen the alien come on the screen, I was just like, holy shit, that's the closest thing that I've come across that looks like what I woke up to. So I'm going to show you guys a picture of that a little later on. In 2014, on July 13th, you know, if you're familiar with my channel, that's the day I tried to leave this place and Archangel Michael appeared. And that was around 1:30 in the afternoon. And when I went to bed that night around 11:30, you know, I still wasn't too pleased to be here. You know, I came to the conclusion that there was no point continuing. I was feeling all this pain and sadness and just didn't want to be here anymore, right? So right before I fell to sleep, you know, I had some tears rolling down my eyes and I just put my fist to the sky and I said, you know, God, if I'm going to be here, I need to know what this is all about. And, you know, I hadn't really thought about what the next upcoming days were going to entail, but I had this feeling of just not wanting to be here, consuming every cell of my body. And around 1:30 in the morning, you know, this is where it gets weird. Like I'm sleeping and I hear this voice clear as day saying, we think you should open your eyes. And so, you know, I normally wear contacts, right? And I didn't have no contacts in. And so I open up my eyes as I'm laying in bed right next to my wife at the time. And there's this ET being that's standing right over top of my bed. You know, this thing was very tall, but it was leaning over. And it was about a foot away from my face. And so I open up my eyes and there's this ET being standing there staring at me. And ever since that day, you know, I've never been able to come, you know, find a picture that's even close to what this thing looked like. I'll show you that in a second, but you know, my initial reaction was sheer terror. I remember getting about maybe 2 to 3 seconds of time to look at this thing, and I just gasped in for air. I was like, I was terrified, and because of this really intense gas that I took in, I shot right out of my body. Like I remember floating to the corner of the room like instantly, and I could see everything that was going on. There's this, it was like 6 feet tall, this fucking alien thing leaning over my bed, and it was talking to me, but I had so much fear consuming me that I couldn't hear anything that it was saying. And I remember hanging out in the corner of the room as a soul, and I remember feeling so much fear come over me. And the next thing I know, I'm getting sucked back into my body. And as I zoom by this thing, I could hear it talking to me saying, we're here to carve our own path. Now, despite this thing being terrifying looking and making me gasp and leave my body, you know, I ran this story by about 6 or 7 different intuitive friends after that, shortly after that. And they all told me that it was a space brother from Andromeda, some being that I had past lives with, and it was coming there to console me. And you know, this is the closest thing that I've ever seen that it looked like. Now I can't say that that's an identical representation because the neck was skinny, like it was tiny, like the size of a golf ball, right? But that color was, the color was identical, and the eyes seemed to be more black and a lot larger with more of a defined but small nose, and very skinny arms, skinny legs, skinny body. But you know, that's the closest I've come to. Oh, and also, despite having a much smaller neck, its head was a lot smaller, like it was more compact. And the thing I remember thinking about that was really strange was the shape of its face almost looked square. It was like, it was, you know what a square is, right? But how many people have square faces? I don't know. But this thing appeared and it had more of like a squarish face, identical color to that. But you know, I wasn't gonna make this video, but seeing this on my old man's TV, I was like, you know what? I don't really talk about this on my channel. If you've read my book, you may have heard this story already, but for everyone else, I just wanted to share it with you. If you'd like to check out my biography, it's called Finding Me. You click that little circle, you'll see my website link. All you gotta do is click that. It's like the second thing that pops up. Thanks to everyone that's already gone out and purchased a copy of my biography. To everyone else that's been picking up some custom crystal jewelry and booking those healing sessions with me where I guide your soul to the 12th dimension and let Jesus perform all the miracles. That's all I got. Hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.